Long John Silver tier list. So that's actually something we were kicking around as an idea, but legitimately doing a Long John Silver's tier list, like trying all their food, would probably result in Matt or I being in the hospital in intensive care. I don't think there's a single like Long John Silver's fan in the world. I don't think it exists. Right now, in chat, is there anyone here that eats at Long John Silver's? Start there. Not even do you like it. Do you eat there ever? Overwhelmingly no, with a couple of liars sprinkled in there about eating there often. I know you're lying. I feel like Long John Silver's is probably some kind of money laundering front to some degree. I don't think it started that way, but I think it's become that, because I don't know how they're still in business. Every Long John Silver's I've passed for the last decade at least has been completely dilapidated in shambles, and yet somehow it's still here. And nobody eats there. I ate there once and almost puked, which is exactly what I'm saying. Like, I feel like if we did the Long John Silver's tier list, it would end in some kind of catastrophic illness. I'm actually going to look it up. How popular is Long John Silver? Today, Long John Silver's owns and operates and franchises nearly 700 restaurants located across 38 U.S. states and Singapore, generating annual system-wide sales of $413 million. Like, I think I've only ever had it once in my life when I was a kid because Joe's Crab Shack was closed. And I can vaguely remember my parents begrudgingly taking me to Long John Silver for, like, popcorn shrimp or something. You're just hating on LGS because it's fun. I don't think it's bad. Have some fucking shame, Glibby. Did you just actually drop an abbreviation for Long John Silver and get it wrong? LGS? It'd be LJS, and nobody's abbreviating Long John Silver's. They don't have fans. Nobody's doing that. That's how I know you're lying. You didn't even get the fucking imaginary abbreviation correct. But yeah, no, I don't think we'll be doing a Long John Silver tier list. It feels dangerous. I watched that, not to get like morbid or like really sad. I watched that video that went viral a little while ago about the woman who ate bad tilapia and had all of her limbs amputated because of the infection or whatever she contracted from it. I feel like that is absolutely a high likelihood at fucking Long John Silver's. Long John Silver hush puppies are S tier. Outside of that, it's dog food. He's a tier 1 Long John Silver CEO. How long have you had that account? You just made it. Yeah, created 2 minutes ago. Don't even try and, like, gaslight me into thinking there's real Long John Silver fans. Thanks to Resub Swift. I can see when you made the account. Scoundrel. The one in my town burned down, shit's whack. I am an LJS enjoyer. No, what you are is a goddamn liar. Stop. Just stop. I know you're not. I'm gonna look up their menu real quick, actually. I haven't checked their menu since we were ideating on doing a Long John Silver tier list. Thanks for some hypo. Plus, Matt is already, like, pretty irpy around seafood because he got such bad food poisoning that it's ruined seafood for him. So I think this would put him in the grave if we did a Long John Silver's tier list. Man, I love this. I go to their... This website couldn't be more sad. I go to their website and I scroll down to go to their menu, and on their promotions, there's one item: cheese bites. It's the only thing they seem to be proud of. They have this whole promotion section, but there's one thing for cheese bites. Nothing else. It's not a very large menu. That's good. I'm glad they didn't make like a massive menu like Cheesecake Factory for this. LJS review win. I'm not memeing. I'm actually actually afraid to eat at Long John Silver. I'd eat their chicken, but then defeat the purpose because they're a seafood place. But I would be terrified to eat this. This is like the idea I had a while ago to do a gas station food tier list and just try like the most revolting old gas station food that just exists in those fucking hot dog spinners forever and never gets changed out. And then we watched that Chubby Emu video on botulism contracted from gas station nachos, and I canned that idea ASAP. Immediately, I put that one on the shelf. Surprised you eat seafood? You're picky? I'm really not picky. I literally eat anything. I will actually eat anything. There's foods I obviously like more than others, but when it comes to Long John Silver's, I actually feel like I am risking life and limb for it. Like, it feels like I'm gambling on my health. My parents met working together at Long John Silver. Probably because there was nothing else to do. Like, there's no customers. They'll just hang out, talk to each other, fall in love. Bond. That makes sense. The way you describe Long John Silver makes it sound like they catch fish from the septic tank. They probably do. I have never seen an LJS that's in good condition. Maybe it's a Florida thing, I don't know. Every LJS I have ever seen in my life looks like a house in Minecraft that got hit by TNT. God damn it, now I'm tricking myself into, like, wanting to take the risk and trying it. Last time my dad ate at Long John Silver over a decade ago, it forced him to get gallbladder surgery. The food is dog food, but root beer is peak. Also, the one near my house burnt down and rebuilt. God, it's like Hydra. Why are we even talking about this? I forgot why this came up. Oh yeah, someone recommended a Long John Silver's tier list, and that's something that has been like something we've been ideating on at the headquarters for a while, but just are afraid to do. Because it's so gross. Do you think it's actually worse than Burger King? It's not fair, because I hate Burger King because I eat it and it always sucks shit. I haven't eaten Long John Silver's because I'm afraid of it. It's like the boogeyman of fast food to me. In my head, it's like the worst thing you can eat, but I haven't actually eaten it to compare it to Burger King. Check out their Big Catch meal. It's absolutely revolting. It's so bad health groups called it the worst meal in America and said that it's basically a heart attack on a hook. I love the name Big Catch. Okay. LJS Big Catch, huh? Long John... This was in 2013, so this is when people still accidentally ate there. Oh my god, this looks awful! Long John Silver's Big Catch is worst restaurant meal in America, says CSPI. I don't know what this is. I don't know that organization. That sounds like some kind of, like, shadow group that works behind the scenes in the food industry. This looks awful! 3 ounces trans fat drenched batter, 4.5 ounce fish. Lab test find 33 grams of trans fat in the meal of fried fish, onion rings, and hush puppies. And then announced that it'll discontinue the Big Catch. Oh no. Damn you! Look what they've taken from us. Not even the Big Catch was safe. Maybe they did like a drastic overhaul of their menu. Because this isn't on there. It was very simple stuff. Granted, they didn't look great, but it did seem very simple. It's piss yellow. It's like actual mustard hue. Like, how do you even fry something that ends up looking that way? I think these are the hush puppies up here. Those look fine. Maybe they're like cheese curds. I can't tell. I think that's the hush puppies, though. But this looks horrible. I love this sentence. Today, the CSPI formally notified Long John Silver's CEO Mike Kern that the chain will be sued if it continues to use partially hydrogenated oil in its deep fryers, and if it continues to misrepresent both the amount of fish in the meal and nutrition information for the side items. Long John Silver's is one of the very few reasons why I don't eat seafood to this day. I had it as a child in California, and I had it as a teenager in Florida. I won't be eating it as an adult. It sounds like a punishment. Like, eat your vegetables or your next meal will be at Long John Silver's. The kid just fucking starts housing it. No, not there! Please! A White Castle tier list would be so much safer. My dad loves White Castle. So I'm very familiar with White Castle. What are they using? Plastic fish? No, it'd probably be healthier if they were using plastic fish, though. Again, this was 2013, so maybe they're in a much better place now. But even still, I'm fucking afraid of it. How about a Chili's tier list? I don't know if I've said this before, but I'll say it now. I say this, like, to my friends. I think Chili's is, like, the best food you can get if you're aiming for that ballpark of quality. So I put Chili's in the same tier as, like, all the other ones, like Applebee's and all that. Chili's blows them out of the water. Chili's is so far above the competition in that genre, it's not even fair. Like, why would you ever go somewhere that's not Chili's if it's an option? If that's, like, where the tier you're trying to stay in. Long John Silver doesn't even want you eating there. When's the last time you saw a Long John Silver commercial? Great question. Do they even advertise anymore? Oh, also the comments from 6 months ago. I saw a video claiming nobody goes to Long John Silver's and it's mainly a money laundering operation. I've never been. Here's a Long John Silver's commercial from 2021. Is their slogan Fish Yeah? It is. Long John Silver, Fish Yeah. Yeah, they definitely don't aggressively market themselves. For good reason. The less people that go to their establishments, the less chance of a lawsuit from like an inadvertent foodborne death. If you search Long John Silver's fire on Google, you're greeted with dozens of separate LJS locations that have randomly burnt down. Well, there's also just so many of them that I imagine just pure numbers game that's bound to happen. Like I bet McDonald's probably has the same phenomenon and Burger King and all that. I don't think it's exclusive to just LJS.
The city says the fire was quickly put out, but not before it caused fire, smoke, and water damage.
Luckily, nobody was inside. Alright. So that was a month ago, so it looks like this shit's burning down all the time. I love TikTok finance gurus. It's this beautiful cornucopia of cringe, where they offer some of the worst advice you'll ever hear. Sometimes it's even just blatant to try and make you lose as much money as possible. Other times it's to promote some kind of scam where you pay them for mumbo jumbo. That one always just blows my mind because you are actually failing step one of being more financially independent by just wasting money on a guy who is actually just using you as a little piggy bank to exploit by telling you things that you want to hear, whispering sweet nothings into your ear that are going to do nothing but have you keep paying him so you can keep suckling on his bosom of nonsense. Those always fascinate me. Today I want to focus on an outrageously stupid lesson that a finance guru tried to teach recently. This comes from Grant Cardone, whom I'm not overly familiar with. I've seen a couple of his seminars because he always gets clowned on pretty much any time he opens his mouth. I'll go ahead and show you his most infamous clip from 2 years ago.
If I made $400,000 a year, I would be embarrassed with myself as a husband, a father, basically as a human being. $400,000. How do you make sense of $35,000 a month? You guys haven't done the math. You have not done the math because you cannot live on $400,000 a year.
Probably one of the most out-of-touch statements I've ever heard. That's up there with Ubisoft claiming that their pirate game, Bone of Thieves or something, Bone on the Water, what is it called? Skull and Bones, since they claim that that was the first quadruple A game ever made. Like, it is shocking just how delusional that statement is here from Grant Cardone. Now, I'm not dumb enough to think that he really believes that. This is one of those tough love approaches that a lot of gurus take because for some reason, some desperate men have like a humiliation kink where they want to be like talked down to and belittled. Like, you should be embarrassed as a man if you're not making $400,000 a year. Like, yeah, you're right, Grant, I really should be. Yeah, come on, keep telling me how fucking naughty I am for not making that much money. So he's just going through this grifting where it's like, if you're not making $400,000 a year, you're subhuman, you're a worm, you're pathetic, you make me sick. One of you come up here so I can beat your ass for not making $400,000 actually, please. The shit he's spouting is so over the top that I think it's pretty obvious that he doesn't actually believe any of it. $35,000 a month he claims you can't live off of. The fucking citizens of Narnia would recognize that that's a ton of money to be living off of, and they wouldn't even be familiar with our currency. So the point is, he's just saying the things he thinks people want to hear from this audience in order to try and make money off of them. Now, Grant Cardone made all of his money through real estate. He made an absolute killing, and he's a multi-millionaire now. And so he's changed his target to basically just trying to take advantage of desperate people that are looking to him to try and improve their financial security. But I'll tell you one thing, Grant Cardone is not giving you the tools to improve your financial situation. He's actually just making it worse for you because you're paying him. Like, you are losing money to get nothing in return. There's no value in any of the lessons I've ever seen him teach, especially not the one that I really want to focus on today.
Every 15-year-old kid should be doing this right now. If you're getting an allowance of $300 a month, buy a piece of real estate that pays you $30 a month. Only use the 30, don't touch the 300.
But how would a young, normal person get money?
Allowance, side jobs, side hustles. I was 14 years old. I was working every weekend. I was mowing lawns, doing whatever I could to get some extra money.
Hey, pal, you just blow in from Stupid Town? It's actually impressive just how much dog shit he was able to fit in only 20 seconds. That is an achievement, that he was able to drivel out so much trash in only 20 seconds. There's like a million things you can point out as being just blatantly wrong here. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's perform a little colonoscopy on this. $300 a month allowance grant. Do you think that's normal? Do you think that that's the normal allowance that a child would get from their family? That is an absurdly high allowance. At that point, your family's already pretty well off. If you're getting $300 a month as a 15-year-old, why don't you just call over your butler Jeeves and ask him to grab a couple gold bricks out of the family safe? Then you've already succeeded as a millionaire. You don't even need Grant Cardone's advice on how to accomplish it. That is so fucking stupid as a number to be throwing around. But even setting aside that unrealistic pipe dream of an allowance as a 15-year-old at $300 a month, let's just say somehow you had that. Grant, as a 15-year-old, how are you going to start investing in real estate with $300 a month? You're never going to get approved for a loan as a 15-year-old that is getting $300 a month as an allowance. It's not even tied to a fucking job. So good luck finding any reputable place that's going to give you a loan for real estate. You are also 15 years old, so you can't even legally purchase real estate without someone co-signing with you. And $300 a month isn't a lot to start looking for real property. That's at best maybe like a $45,000 property that you could maybe get access to under the most unrealistic of circumstances. You're better off finding the Lucky Charms mascot's pot of gold than you are finding a house, any property at all, for $45,000 in America right now with the way the housing market is. That just doesn't fucking exist. But you know what? We'll continue to inhabit this ninth dimensional fucking wonderland that Grant Cardone's brain seems to be trapped in. Let's say you found it. You're not getting a loan. At $300 a month, you're going to have to do a down payment on this property, and that down payment's probably going to be multiple thousands of dollars, which you're not going to have from the $300 a month unless you had already previously saved up for a couple of years beforehand to afford this down payment. You can't do this. It's impossible. It's actually impossible. And Grant Cardone is a real estate multimillionaire. He knows this, but he thinks everyone that follows him is a stupid fucking bumbling Neanderthal. And he might be right, I guess, if anyone actually thinks this is legitimate advice that he spouts out of his fucking mouth. This is so foul. It's so wrong. It's unbelievable. I also hate that so many kids see this, and I bet there's a not small number of them that actually think this is what they should be doing, being told that this is what every kid needs to do in order to make money. And maybe one day down the road, against all the odds, a 15-year-old does actually succeed and become a landlord. My heart breaks whatever family has to deal with that nightmare, that hell. In between tilted tower drops on Fortnite and playing Roblox with the squad, he then goes and collects money from his tenants. Oh, God, that's so miserable to even think is a possibility. But in Grant's world, he thinks that's what kids should be doing. It's actually incredible how often the financial guru advice boils down to step 1, start rich, or step 1, don't be poor. And he's even brainwashed his own daughter. Like, she does some videos on his TikTok page, and I'm not here to like insult her or anything. It's definitely not her fault. She's like 15 years old, but her father has really convinced her that this is like a normal thing that every kid has access to. So she posted a video about how she's going to be a millionaire before she's 20, and gave advice to kids her own age on how to accomplish a similar feat.
I'm gonna be a millionaire before I'm 20, and this is how. I work for my dad's company. I have a contract with them and I get paid every month. That money then goes into real estate where I get some passive income I get to go spend.
I'm just gonna stop it right there because the entire tutorial is I work for my dad's company. That's how I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I'm 20. And it's not like she really works for the company. She gets an allowance from her father, which is like 50 grand a year, at least according to TikTok, where he's giving her like bonuses based on performance of TikTok videos. So the advice is literally be born to a rich family. Like, that's not something most people can follow. 99% of the population is going to fail step 1 there because they literally can't just work for their dad's multi-million-dollar company. It's not feasible. And yet, this entire page, Grant Cardone's entire online career is built around selling this kind of nonsensical idea. Oh, it's so easy, everyone can be rich, just give me money and I'll unlock the secrets for you. And then the secret is basically, hey, don't be poor. Invest in real estate at 15 years old with your $300 a month allowance. What, you guys weren't doing that already? It's so easy, come on. But anyway, I just wanted to shoot some spitballs at Grant Cardone a little bit here today. That's really about it. See ya. Everything in the world is becoming a subscription service. Get ready to set aside a monthly allowance for air premium when you start getting charged for every single little bit of oxygen you breathe once they find a way to monetize that. It's just such a frustrating trend. It's worse than Tide Pods, honestly. But what's even worse about the subscription plague is when some services make it very difficult to cancel, making it a ton of hoops that you have to jump through and just a complete nuisance. And there's no industry worse about this than journalism. I don't know what's happened to journalism, but it is fucking atrocious. Not only like the quality of articles, but even just the ability to access articles. I've done this on stream innumerable times by this point, where if you go to an article without an ad block on, you can't see the article because it's just completely filled, inundated with ads out the wazoo, with auto-playing banner ads, in paragraph ads that split everything up, and all you see is ads. And if you go on mobile, you're better off just closing your eyes. You'll get the same amount of information. It's terrible. It's absolute trash. It should be illegal. Like, I actually think there should be a limit to how many ads can be on these websites, because you can't even access the content. It's unacceptable. And some websites don't even allow you to see an article without your ad block being turned off, which is why I have it off when I stream, so I can at least access an article. If that's the word. I don't even know if I can use that word for it, because the only thing I'm accessing is a goddamn migraine looking at all these fucking stupid ads that are just, like, laser beaming my eyes. But if you do make the mistake of subscribing to some of these journalism outlets in order to actually read some of their trash, you become their bitch. You become their prisoner for life. You're trapped in there with them. Like, you can't escape. It's an actual Elden Ring DLC boss battle if you try and unsubscribe from some of these outlets. And the worst culprit by far that I can find is The Economist. I saw these screenshots today and learned that this is common practice for The Economist when you try and unsubscribe. There are so many posts on Twitter and Reddit, as well as just like other forums, that document how painful of an experience it is to unsubscribe from The Economist, because they make it as difficult and complicated and long as possible in the hopes that you'll just give up and just keep your subscription. It's so foul. That has to be illegal. It really does. But anyway, here's the live chat here, because in order to unsubscribe from The Economist, you have to talk to somebody there. You can't just automatically do it, which I feel should be a basic necessity if you're offering a subscription service. You should have a way to automatically unsubscribe and cancel it. I don't think you should have to communicate with anyone at the company you're unsubscribing to, but at The Economist, they clearly disagree. So here they say, "Hi Austin," with an exclamation point. Super excited to be having this conversation. Party poppers just went off the second this live chat was initiated. Sorry to hear that you wish to cancel your subscription. I'll certainly help you with your request. Allow me a minute. While I'm doing that, may I know how your day has been so far? To which they just say, "Fine, thanks." Short, sweet, to the point. No one really wants to be making small talk through the live chat here when they're on a mission to just unsubscribe, which should be a quick, easy process. They go, "I'm glad to know about your day, Austin." Yeah, pumping their fist. "I'm glad to know about it. I can see you have a monthly digital subscription with the renewal date of the 5th of July, 2024. May I know if there is any specific reason that you wish to unsubscribe with us, Austin?" To which he replies, "Ads." Pause. That's crazy. So you're paying to subscribe to this journalism outlet, and you're still getting ads. I was under the impression that if you subscribe to one of these outlets, you don't get ads anymore, and you actually get to read what they publish. That is shocking, that you're paying to still get ads on these fucking websites. That's like malware. These journalism outlets are like actually malware you're paying for, I suppose. That blows my mind. Thank you for the information. I'm sorry the inconvenience this may have caused. If I may know, how do you access the content, through app or website? I love that you have to take like a fucking exit survey here just to unsubscribe. Lovely. What a great process. Website. I'm not trying to be rude, but can I please just cancel without all these questions? Exactly. No one likes to be interrogated about wanting to unsubscribe from this service. It's ridiculous. Thank you for the information. Apologies for the hassle. I will help you with your request. Thank you for patiently waiting. To explain, The Economist ads are clever, witty, and thought-provoking. They're driving like this hard sell on like, well, actually, these ads are incredible. We have innovative ads that use these things called jokes. Humor is actually one of the most important things of The Economist, because we believe if you're reading The Economist, we gotta put a smile on that face. And we do that through these extremely clever and witty ads. Oh my god, it's so fucking dystopian. They engage readers by making them feel part of an elite club. For instance, iconic ads imply that reading The Economist makes you smarter or more informed. Like most media outlets, The Economist relies on advertising revenue to sustain its operations. Ads help cover production costs, pay journalists, and maintain the quality of content. I have no doubt that customer service is trained to do this. It's not something they really want to be doing. But holy shit, that is such a crazy thing to attempt. Like, oh, you're leaving because of ads? Are you sure? Our ads are witty. Like, ads should be a reason you'd want to stay. Our ads are so good. Like, I can't believe you'd want to leave because of ads. That's kind of a stupid reason. Let me explain to you why you should stay. Because these ads are so fucking good. I also love trying to guilt them a little bit, like, well, ads are a necessary evil. Well, excuse me, not evil, a necessary blessing to our readers because they help sustain the website and pay for all of these costs. Well, what the fuck is the point of the subscription service then? Like, you're double dipping. If you're subscribing to something here, you shouldn't be getting ads on top of it too. At least I don't think so. Or at the very least, non-intrusive ads. If you're still going to put ads to subscribers, it should at the very least rule out the possibility of getting in-video ads, banner ads, in-article ads, fucking audio blasting ads. Like, it should... If you're going to put ads into these subscriptions, I suppose, it should be the least intrusive ones, like at the very bottom of an article, perhaps. Like, it's stupid. This is really stupid. But above all, you should just let people be able to unsubscribe without this kind of hassle. This is absurd. So, it's not just, a live chat that you have to go through, though there is so many screenshots from people having almost identical experiences with the Economist live chat when trying to unsubscribe. There's also been cases where they kind of require you to call if you don't want to wait in a live chat queue. So your options are either call The Economist or go through this song and dance with live chat. Like, that's so inefficient and just a complete waste of time. And it's on purpose, because like I said, the idea is if you make it a long, tedious process, some people will probably just be like, okay, fuck it, I'll just keep subscribing and I'll occasionally read this, I suppose. Like, it's just one of those things like a gym membership. Gym memberships are notorious for this, where if you try and cancel a gym membership, they require you to go in there in person in some places in order to cancel it, and for a lot of people, that makes it a lot more inconvenient, so they end up pushing it and procrastinating, so they end up paying for it longer than they planned on. It's that same practice here from The Economist, but worse, because now you have to directly be interacting with and being guilted by and getting fucking, like, car salesmen on by their representatives at The Economist. It's unacceptable. Now let's take a closer peek here at the process. Cancel your subscription. We're sorry to hear that you would like to cancel your subscription. Best way to get in contact with us is through our live chat service, which is open 24/7 and directs you to that service. Why do you have to get in contact with them? Why not just offer like an automatic cancellation service as opposed to a live chat one? I think that's a little much, but whatever. Alternatively, if you don't want to wait there, you can find some phone numbers with a dedicated service center that will be happy to assist you. So you get to contact someone directly who will be giving you these sales pitches as you're trying to leave the service. And if you look to the right there, you can see the live chat that this user has started. Before I process your account, I would love to tell you about the Espresso app. The Espresso app from The Economist, which is a slimmed-down version of The Economist, offers a condensed experience which you can fully personalize to what you enjoy. It's super popular for people with less time on their hands. You can stay connected to the content while commuting, running, or doing your grocery shopping, and you have access to another free trial. It costs $12.90 for the month, or $129 per year. Sorry, it's a little blurry there, I couldn't read that. So they're trying to unsubscribe from The Economist, and while they're trying to process that request, they're trying to pitch them on another service from The Economist, an app that does the same fucking thing, but in a different way. Who the fuck thinks that's a good idea? Oh, I see you want to leave The Economist. Well, have you thought of downloading The Economist app, our partner companion app? Well, here's why you should do it, and here's the cost for doing it. Would you like me to sign you up? I can do that real quick while I'm processing your unsubscribe request. It's a standalone app which you will have to download from your Play Store or App Store and use separately. I can switch you to the free trial Espresso today. This offer will reduce your payment from $29.90. Jesus Christ, it's just ridiculous. I can't even keep reading it. It's so absurd. Anyway, I'm not going to keep ranting about this. You get the point. If you're offering a subscription service, offer an easy, convenient way to cancel it. That's it. That should be a actual law. That if you have that, you must also have a way of getting rid of it easily without it being a complete fucking nuisance. That's really about it. See ya. Lying on a job resume or bluffing your way to a job that you have absolutely no idea how to handle isn't the most uncommon thing in the world. My favorite example of this is George Lazenby, who played James Bond for a single movie. He made up his entire resume, lied about all of it in order to land the role, and played it one time and quit. Dude had no acting experience at all and must have forged the best summer reading report of a resume ever. So he got to be James Bond on Her Majesty's Secret Service, and I love the poster here. Far up, far out, far more. James Bond 007 is back. More like fucking Lames Bond. Jesus Christ, that hasn't aged well. That goes to show you how much we've evolved. That is not the best tagline now, but I do appreciate it. Point is, forging a resume, making shit up in order to get a job, that's not unheard of. And today I was thinking back to some classic controversies and examples of this happening, and I remembered like 4 or 5 years ago, there was a couple cases where people pretended to be sign language interpreters and landed roles in major productions such as news broadcasts or events and concerts, and eventually people that actually understood sign language called them out because they were signing complete nonsense. It wasn't even close. It was blatantly way off. They were up there just doing the fucking scat man with their hands, not making any sense. They were up there like popping and locking, doing like TikTok dances basically, and calling it sign language.
Happened again. Another sign language interpreter accused of signing total gibberish. This time it was at the police news conference announcing an arrest in the Tampa serial killings.
We will be charging 4 counts of first-degree murder.
I don't know American Sign Language, but I do know she got one of those right. 4. I understood that one. A pretty high-profile case here, a serial killer, and I bet all the viewers that are hard of hearing must have been beyond confused as to the report that was being delivered from this lady.
Standing off to the side, apparently translating every word, this woman.
We received over 5,000 tips in this case.
But it turns out, much of what she was signing was nonsense. She waved her arms around like she was singing Jingle Bells.
I've got to admire the fake it till you make it attitude here, but unfortunately the only thing to make was a fool of herself. I decided to look at comments, which is usually very ill-advised. When you go into the YouTube comments, you're going into the swamp. But I really was curious if she was signing any real words at all, because even to my stupid, smooth little reptile brain, some of those did look like actual sign language, movements. And it turns out she was using some words correctly, such as kill and murder and arrested. However, most of it was gibberish. Most of it was just actual mumbled nonsense. So when she was doing all that stuff with her, fingers, none of that was real. I could have been up there doing, the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 salute, and I would have been making more sense than she was. It's also wild to think that anyone hard of hearing that would have been watching this broadcast might have been concerned for her health, because the way she's signing would have been like having a stroke. A ton of gibberish with a few words that get mumbled out would have been like going to an auction during a bidding war, where the auctioneer is just going fucking hog wild, like, yeah, do I hear 5 5? I do I hear 5 5? I'm going on. I'm going 1. Do I hear 5 5 5 5 5 5 5 5 5 5 25 5 5 25 5 5 25 over there 5 5 5?
Says one outraged sign language expert. The woman, identified as Derlin Roberts, has a string of arrests for fraud. So how did she come to be translating at last week's high-profile police news conference?
I just didn't ask enough questions.
I love this section where he just kind of pops in like, yep, it was me. I'm the fucking idiot. I did it. Like, he's just very upfront and honest, like a parent that caught their kid stealing a cookie from the cookie jar and just folding. Like, no, it was me. I did it. It's my fault. I'm the dummy. Point and laugh at me. Shoot your spitballs at me. I know. It was me. Also, at a certain point, I just have to admire this lady's grind. She was born for one purpose. Trolling. Like, her whole life has been nothing but fraud, and she still continues to go down that path. And she wasn't even getting paid for this, by the way. She did this just for the love of lying. So she had no experience signing, she also had a history of fraud, and still landed the biggest sign language interpretation position of that year. This serial killer broadcast was a huge one. I remember this vividly. So, hats off to her that she's still able to keep performing at a high level of fraud.
Tampa Police Public Information Officer Steve Hegarty told me the woman simply showed up out of the blue and offered her services.
My immediate reaction was, I didn't call for a sign language interpreter, but that's great that we have one here. I let her in.
Did this woman appear to know what she was doing?
To the untrained eye, and that would include mine, I didn't see any problem.
There's almost an art form for something being so stupid that it's smart. A plan like this, which at its core is just complete dog shit dummy, that it crosses over that event horizon into being genius. This is something where no one's going to really question you, so she shows up like an angel. Hey, I'll be a sign language interpreter here, just so that way if anyone's hard of hearing and watching this, they can get the information. Like, oh, that's so nice of you to offer your services. Can you prove that you can do it? And then if you don't know American Sign Language, you're not going to be able to pick up on, like, all kinds of moves with your hands and shit not meaning anything. So she could have easily faked her way into it, and she did flawlessly. Like the guy said, to the untrained eye, he had no red flags being tripped off, and they're not going to really background check someone that's offering their service for free, because what would be the incentive? Like, why would they be lying about it?
This latest embarrassment comes 3 months after it was revealed that the sign language interpreter at a Hurricane Irma news conference, also in Florida, made no sense.
The time to act is now.
Hegarty is summing up the latest goof.
We won't be using that woman again.
Cops say this was not a crime, but it was an ethical violation.
So we're going to get to that other sign language blunder in just a moment, because it also happened in Florida, and I also remember that one as well, because I'm from Florida. Now, as he mentioned, it's not a crime to be faking a sign language position, I guess, since she wasn't charging for her service. She didn't defraud them or anything. She just lied to them and pretended she knew what she was doing. They got pranked, basically. I bet she was giggling the entire way home that she actually pulled this off. She must have like a Facebook group that they do these high-profile pranks in or something. Like, I don't know why she would do this other than just having fun with it, which is still such a wild activity, like a wild hobby, to just pretend to be a sign language interpreter.
The time to act is now.
It was an urgent Hurricane Irma evacuation order, but look at the sign language interpreter on the right. He's actually signing total gibberish. What's he really communicating to deaf citizens caught up in the hurricane crisis? Words like pizza, monsters, and the sentence, help you at that time to use bear hug.
This situation actually has a lot more nuance compared to the last one. In the last one, it's like that Shaq meme, I'm unfamiliar with your game. I don't know why that lady pretends to be a sign language interpreter, especially when she's not getting paid for it. She does it just to make the whole broadcast silly and goofy. A mere mortal can't possibly understand her deep, complex motivations for why she fakes being a sign language interpreter. But in this case, the guy did not want to do this. He was forced to. And he actually does have a sympathetic background and actually does have experience with sign language, but told them he wasn't comfortable doing this and didn't think he was cut out for it. So they mention here that he was signing real words like pizza and monsters, both of which could be applicable to a hurricane. A hurricane comes around, you're probably going to have pizza places being hit. Pizza's not safe. It's not like a fucking safe spot or anything. You might even have pizza flying around the hurricane that could be used as a projectile weapon. So maybe he had a whole spiel he was going to go into about pizza. Monsters. A hurricane is absolutely nature's monster. It's been called that since the beginning of time. And then about the bear hug. You know, better hug your loved ones because you might fucking lose them in the hurricane. There's plenty of ways of spinning that where it makes sense. But point is, he was using real words and actually stringing together sentences. They just didn't fully make sense at all.
Deaf actress Marlee Matlin posted, "This is outrageous."
Please heed our warnings.
The interpreter's name is Marshall Green. Officials in Manatee County asked Green to step in because no one else was available. His mom, brother Morgan, who is hearing impaired, and Morgan's fiancée Chauncey are coming to his defense today.
This is where the plot starts to thicken. You can see where the narrative is about to get real convoluted and confusing here. So, they called upon him, like Batman with the signal in the sky, in order to be the sign language interpreter for the evacuation orders for Irma. That's a very serious thing. The evacuation for Irma was a huge deal. I got evacuated during Hurricane Irma. Now, luckily, I didn't see his broadcast, and I don't understand sign language, because if I did, I may have ended up just getting a pizza and writing it out, which may have fucking killed me. Who knows? But point is, they chose Marshall, saying they had nobody else to go to, so it was their last-ditch Hail Mary, desperate attempt to get some kind of sign language interpreter up there for the broadcast to relay the information to the hearing-impaired community. I don't know how they chose him. Someone must have just been like, hey, I saw Marshall do the fucking Vulcan salute at the office one time. Good enough, bring him in. Surely he knows sign language.
He, told them he didn't think that he was able to do it, and felt like that they needed him to. So he said yes. The vocabulary for an evacuation is very different than everyday language.
I'm just asking, as someone hearing impaired, what your reaction is to this criticism. Chaucer signed my question to Morgan.
He only did what he was told to do, so please leave our family alone.
In this case, I really just don't blame Marshall for this situation at all. This is not his fault. He gave them warning that he probably couldn't do this and he didn't feel comfortable trying. His brother is hearing impaired, so he does know sign language, and his brother and family also confirm he does know sign language, but the vocabulary and the speed of the evacuation orders are very different than what he's used to, which is why he said he didn't feel comfortable trying it, but he still did the best that he could when they asked him to. So I do really feel bad for him and the family here, because this is really not his fault. He didn't want to be there. He didn't lie to get there, and he didn't try to, fuck the whole thing up. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about these because they popped into my head this afternoon, because I remembered there was so much sign language controversy for a year, where even outside of these two cases, a couple other sign language interpreters were revealed as complete frauds, and they were ones that actually traveled with bands and rappers where they'd sign the songs, and it turns out they weren't even signing anything close to the songs. So the whole thing was just a wild little trend almost, and just want to talk about it. That's about it. So yeah. I just learned about a job that I would have never imagined would actually exist, let alone be successful. A baby name consultant. That is a real profession right now.
Some expecting parents aren't coming up with names on their own. They're hiring baby name consultants. Can you believe such a thing exists?
Some parents turning, unbelievable, to naming consultants on platforms like TikTok to help them find the perfect fit.
The baby naming industry has sort of blown up.
Colleen Slagan owns Naming Baby. She charges between $250 to $400 for her consultations, and business is booming.
Charging $250 to $400 doubloons for some names. I spit that shit out for free every time I create a character in Dark Souls. I love how she refers to it as a baby naming industry. They found a way to monetize just giving name suggestions. You can do that for free. Ask ChatGPT if you really get desperate, or you can just Google names right now and get an infinite list of it without paying a penny. To pay hundreds of dollars for a list of names is absolute insanity to me. She justifies it by saying she spends hours on personalizing and customizing the suggestions, so for $250 you get 10 suggestions, for $400 you get 30. And from what I've seen, her suggestions are just normal names. It's not like she's creating fucking brand new vocab words here. She's not speaking in the language of the gods or anything, bestowing upon your newborn this powerful title or anything. It's just standard names like Olivia or Liam or Phil. It's nothing crazy. Yes, she'll personalize it based on some of the things the couple will say to her, hey, my wife really likes flowers and I really love boar's head pickles. And then she'll come back and be like, okay, well, name your daughter Daffodil or Sprout or Sunflower. And you can name your son Dill. It's nothing super interesting or unique, and it's certainly not worth hundreds of dollars.
Why is a name so important? It's the first choice you're making as a parent. It's the first sort of piece of identity you're giving to your child. And a lot of parents, like, they're looking for something really specific.
Obviously, a name is extremely important, but I feel like I'm boofing crazy pills here, because why would you be paying hundreds of dollars for someone else to name your child for you, basically? They are basically the ones that are just giving you this list that you choose from, and you probably feel obligated at that point, since you spent money on it, to just settle on one of those names. That doesn't seem like a recipe for success.
Holly and Eric Stein own a postpartum meal delivery service and are expecting baby number 3 at the end of August.
I don't think I even knew something like this existed.
They've been struggling to find a name that will sound good with their 2 kids, Rory and Blair. They hired Colleen and now have a top few to choose from, but are waiting until baby's arrival to make a final decision.
It was obvious that she had put a lot of thought into this, and they all went with the vibe that we were looking for.
At the end of the day, it's their money. They can throw it in the toilet however they want. I'm not going to break into their house and slap the dollar bills out of their hand before giving it to a baby naming consultant or anything. But to me, it just seems like a real symptom of how everything needs to be monetized, and that's becoming more and more normalized. How even something as simple as just name suggestions is all of a sudden a massive business at this point. That's just so fucking dystopian to me. I'll go ahead and break the magician's code here and reveal some great names for free. If there's any expecting couples out there, please feel free to use these. There's no royalties on them, copyright free, no trademarks. A name that I've been really defaulting to recently is Jerichomo. It's a name that's derived from a very strong source, my buddy Aaron. He came up with this name and I think it just sounds really fucking cool, so I think Jerichomo is a really great choice. Another one that I've always really appreciated is Avagantimos. It was a name that I came up with on the spot a long time ago when playing a horror game called Penumbra, which could also serve as a cool name. Penumbra sounds awesome. It's like a cool Pokemon, you know? But yeah, Avagantimos makes it sound like some kind of ancient gladiator. There's also Geth, which I think is a really cool sounding name from Mass Effect. If you've played Mass Effect, that name will have even more meaning for you. Mass Effect 3's base ending was absolutely atrocious, but it doesn't mean that the name Geth is sullied in any way. Plus, the DLC did help with the Mass Effect 3 ending anyway, so Geth could be a strong option. There's also Glarb, which is a frog in Magic the Gathering from their new set Bloomburrow, and Glarb sounds great. There's Bilgist, which is something I made up right now, and I'm recognizing that that's probably not a strong choice. Your kid will absolutely be subjected to bullying and being made fun of for that, so don't go with Bilgist. But all the other options I listed, those are cool, and I didn't charge you a penny for those. She provided examples on her website about how a consultation kind of goes, so after you fork over a few $100, this is kind of what you can expect. You'll send her a message kind of going over the situation, all of the lore. So in the example here, they explain that they're not loving any of the names they've brainstormed for baby number 2, the sequel. They have a daughter named Lola. There's a couple names they're considering, like Killian, Otto, Merrick, etc. And for the most part, they're not nickname people. They kind of want more uncommon names. That's basically the gist of it. Colleen then takes in all this information and starts computing. She gives her opinion on the names they're considering, as well as giving them her impression of their style. So she says their style feels very vintage, timeless, and ahead of the trends, and that she gets a guy in the beanie at the coffee shop, old soul kind of vibe. Which honestly almost sounds like an insult. Those sound like fighting words. I'm surprised an argument wouldn't break out in this example here. Like, what do you mean? That's not my vibe at all. But then she gives her perspective on the names that were vetoed. And all in all, it basically just kind of plays out like taking an old BuzzFeed quiz. Like, it doesn't really have anything super useful here. It's just her kind of just saying about the names and the impression she gets. Then she gives her name suggestions, and I'll go over a couple of them. So she said that the common denominator between all of their names is that they are uncommon. So she tried to keep that in mind and then came up with Jennings. I'll go ahead and take the liberty of vetoing that one on behalf of the couple. That feels like it's the polar fucking opposite of the vibe they were looking for. Jennings sounds like a butler. That sounds like someone Bruce Wayne would have hired for a minute if Alfred went on vacation. She then goes on to try and explain why she came up with that name and says that it feels related to Jameson but a little more unique and a little less preppy. Completely disagree. That sounds like one of the preppiest names you can have. She then says that she thinks Lola and Jennings both have the cool factor and make a great sibling set. Whatever that mumbo-jumbo means. Her next suggestion was Briggs or Brig. She then says that it's another surname that reminds her of Banks, but a little less Mighty Duck. It feels like a fresh take on Brooks, which is getting quite popular. I knew a kid growing up named Brig. Hard G, which I actually like better, though more likely to be mispronounced. Surnames that end in an S have a slightly preppy feel, but Briggs also brings a lot of Western feel to add a little grunge to that prep. I like how she says that names that end in an S have a slightly preppy feel, and her previous suggestion was a name that ended in S and said that it felt less preppy. So that feels like a bit of a contradiction there, but I'm not a professional baby namer. Maybe I'm just not familiar with the subtleties and the nuance of baby naming consultancy. The example ends with her giving a couple other names like Hugo and Remy and closing by saying, I hope that this baby name consultation has given you some food for thought and either helps you feel more sure of one of the names on your list or has given you some new ideas to consider. Happy naming. I'm guessing this is where the communication ends? Like this is where they cease contact? I'm not really sure how this works, but I was looking up if you get a refund if you don't like any of the names that she suggests. Or if you can request additional names for no extra charge if you just didn't like any of the first batch. And I can't find anything on that. I don't know if I'm just missing it on her website. It's kind of set up in a weird way. But just imagine paying $250 for 10 names and you don't like any of them. What a huge, colossal waste of cash right there. I feel like you should be able to give your input on it and see if like maybe you two can come together and iron out like the perfect name. Because hoo-wee, if you're paying $400, I would expect that you and Colleen here would really work hard to pinpoint that motherfucking name. That's a lot of money to get suggestions that maybe you don't even like. So I can't find any information on what happens if you don't like the names, but I still think that this job is such a weird one. This is something people do for free and should be free. You're just asking for naming suggestions. Why are you going to be charging hundreds of dollars for that? But anyway, just had to talk about this a bit. That's it. See ya. Have you seen the Scentbird CEO? She does a podcast with her eyes closed to talk to spirits and said Hitler wasn't bad. What? The Scentbird CEO does this. Wait. I know Scentbird. Yeah, wait, you're right. The Scentbird CEO claims to be a spiritual medium. Or, sorry, not a spiritual medium, a spiritual guru. The co-founder of the Netflix for Fragrance, Mariah Nuraslamova, has been moonlighting as a spiritual influencer. Comments on extraterrestrials, The Matrix, and Hitler have recently attracted negative attention. Your teeth are not randomly crooked, there is a spiritual meaning. Every little aspect of the tooth is a map, right? This sounds beautifully unhinged. You see they found a cave on the moon? Oh, we got moon troglodytes now? That's pretty cool. This is the... I can't find the clips anywhere else right now, so right now, completely reliant on the YouTubers here to bless me with this info. I want to see these readings.
Version of the Matrix will be the default one. The 5th version of the Matrix is actively being incubated, and according to Maria, it's showing really good signs and is looking promising.
Now there is a new version of the Matrix that's being currently incubated. The 5th version of the Matrix.
Matrix
and,
5?
That one is showing signs of really good promise, so...
Maria mentions having a direct...
Wait a minute, I need to go to her website. There's a Matrix 5 dropping? This is Maria. She is the CEO of Scentbird, which I think many of you have probably seen through YouTube sponsors. They were pretty big on influencer marketing, from what I recall.
So when you are inviting black into your body, you're not inviting demons, God forbid. You're not inviting evil into your body. You are inviting this moldable substance that contains all life inside, that contains all light inside, that contains the entire spectrum of everything.
Okay, so she's about to cast a hollow purple. I don't really care about that. Where did she do, like, the spiritual readings, like where she talks about Hitler and everything? I don't need to know about her curse technique.
I mean, I'm in the presence of an architect, of the Great Architects Council of Light, but sadly
that is big.
Isn't the case.
That is
that
big.
You're automatically crushed while listening to her guided meditation for an ultimate womb detox. And
whoa, an ultimate womb detox? Whoa, hey, hold on, I can use that.
Hello, my darlings, and welcome to Our Sacred Universe, a podcast where we meditate together.
I'm ready.
Today I wanted to offer you a womb healing practice.
Thank you.
Our womb space is where we deposit a lot of our hurt, a lot of our pain, a lot of our suffering. but a womb space, or if you will, our sacral space.
Mm-hmm. I
is
have
something
that.
Everyone has.
I have
and
nipples,
so
Greg. Can you milk me?
You, if you haven't checked out my book yet,
No, hold
it's
on. I don't need the hashtag ads here. Just give me my womb needs a little bit of assistance here.
Keep breathing in and out.
Imagine I just have a full
Using
body
the
orgasm
power
from
of
this.
your breath to ground and center yourself. Invite the healing vibrations of the universe to enter the sacred space of your womb.
See, like, we skip a step. How do I invite the healing vibrations of the universe to fuck my womb or whatever? Like, what do I do? Like, how do I send out the distress signal? That's where these guided meditations always fall apart for me. Like, they make it sound like it's so easy that I can just call upon healing vibrations. Like, I'm not a shaman. Like, can you call it for me? Thanks for membership, Oz. Book a reservation. Yeah, what availability do the healing vibrations have in the universe? I imagine they're probably pretty booked up. Why are you detoxing your womb? It sounded helpful. If you're just tuning in, to give you context, this individual, Maria, is the CEO of Scentbird, which is actually a pretty big company, or at least it was. I don't know if it still is. And according to Chatter, the Scentbird CEO has found herself into some controversy because of this line of work, where apparently she was saying that Hitler wasn't bad through her spiritual guru sessions. And I'm trying to locate that, but I'm getting all, like, sidetracked here, going through these alternate branching paths in the visual novel. So I'm still looking for that, but it's such an interesting tangent. Big thanks to OperaGX for sponsoring this video. OperaGX is the browser you see me use every single night on stream. It's just my go-to browser, and it has so many features that I just really have come to know and love. Obviously, the one that I always preach about, because it's the one I'm most enthusiastic about, is the fact that OperaGX is not a resource hog like Chrome and other browsers. It is so lightweight but so powerful, and the GX mods that it offers are super fun, so you can really customize it to make it feel like your own and make it feel super unique. There's just so many things you can change and tinker around with. There's so many different ways of integrating extensions that you're already used to in other browsers to seamlessly transition them into Opera. They have the GX store. They just have so many features. The hot tabs killer, forcing things to go from flashbang into forced dark mode, so you don't have to go to a new website and then just get blinded by a bright light. It's just the best browser, in my opinion. So, big thanks to OperaGX for sponsoring this. You can download Opera right now for free by clicking the link in the description. The dark truth about coffee, it is a toxin that darkens your aura? What? Coffee is bad for your aura?
It also darkens our aura as it does. As it does so, as it works with our body. So it's almost like when coffee gets into your aura, it creates these little anchors or these little dots of itself. It's almost like it gives an energetic imprint into your body.
What?
And though that energetic imprint is kind of what causes an addiction, because it's going.
The energetic imprint is what causes an addiction, and it darkens our aura through that. How the fuck does it touch my aura?
When you evolve.
Okay.
Over time, what ends up happening to your soul is you accumulate more and more light in your body. So you grow and expand, and you grow and expand by accumulating more light and kind of releasing darkness, if that makes sense. Over here,
it makes so much sense,
a lot of
actually.
things in your life are dependent on how much light you can hold within your body, especially if you're on spiritual path. For people that are able to hold on a lot of light in their auric fields, their spiritual gifts open up. Their abundance channels open up. Their talents open up. Essentially, like their higher selves come through, and then the body is considered clean. So your higher self is willing to inhabit more of your physical body.
What is happening?
And therefore, you will always have connected. You become a channel.
That's a lot to process. She's blowing the lid wide open on what it means to be alive. Your higher self gave you this name for a reason. I mean, it's my dad's name. Is that the reason my higher self gave it to me? These are so interesting. I'm never going to find the video where she's apparently talking about Hitler. I'm just going to keep going down these wacky fucking titles. Why did my higher self name me Charles?
Hello, my darlings.
I feel like it's because it's my dad's
This
name.
is Maria. The topic for today, Maria.com. All right, the mystery of the name. This is kind of a fun topic.
It's not a mystery.
That is
It's
what
just
we're
not a
diving
mystery
into.
for like most people.
I don't think it would be vowels and the consonants in the name, through the letters in the name, connects you to certain aspects of universal flow, universal energy, if you will.
Huh?
And because you're so attached, in a good way, to your name, you have a claim over those energies.
Okay, I claim all of the energies of C-H-A-R-L-E and S. No one else can have them. That's my domain now, and I'm kicking everyone else out. Eliminate pain and heal a specific organ or part of your body. Teaching you how to use the Force. Are you a star seed? Yes. One thing that did come up, though, is called the Karma of Atlantis. It's time to release it. Here's how you can do it right now. Like, raise Atlantis myself? I can do that?
Favorite YouTubers have promoted a brand that normally wouldn't show up on my scam/problematic radar scanner.
Scentbird.
Yeah, I told you it was a big thing. Told you that.
That at least outwardly, because the CEO of Scentbird, Maria Nurislamova, stinks.
Our bodies choose to miscarry children.
Oh.
It's not an accident that happens. It's a choice. If people were to align with their life purpose, we would see a lot less cancer on planet Earth. You could heal yourself from any disease. I don't care if it's cancer. I don't care if it's AIDS. It could be whatever. But you could heal yourself in the span of under 7 days.
We're going to talk about the spiritual reasons for being overweight.
Like, look at Hitler. He's one of the poster children for like being an evil person. Do you know how many millions of souls benefited from learning from the experience that he has created? So is he evil? Not really. I don't think so.
Wow, Maria. Those spiritual sessions are sending you down the loony path.
A lot of hidden agendas by the powers that be. And those hidden agendas remain hidden because there is not enough heart space energy in humanity to be able to bring them to light. The heart energy is always the energy of light. The heart energy is always the energy that essentially you emanate your energy from the heart. The heart is one of those energies that if your heart is activated internally, you can heal your whole body in a matter.
I will say, if your heart isn't activated, you're probably not watching this video in the first place. You are dead. Most likely. Bearing some, like, very fringe cases.
That is the power of the heart. It changes your internal ecosystem and it changes your external ecosystem. It just does. It is meant to. It is.
Well, who knew? Who knew? It's like breathing techniques from Demon Slayer, but for your heart. It can do anything. It's just like a bunch of gobbledygook. This is like, there's nothing that binds these statements together. It's just like a random assortment of words that have no real meaning. This is the problem when I'm looking through pages like this. I get so distracted by so many cool titles. She has one here called Babies Control How Long Their Birth Is. Like, this is unhinged. God damn it.
That's why certain births take so long, is in the state of resistance. If the baby's in a state of fear, if the baby doesn't want to access their masculine energies, the birth process is going to take longer. That's why someone...
Wait, what? The baby doesn't want to tap into its masculine energies, so it doesn't want to be birthed? What the fuck? The baby comes out like scoops of, like, creatine. What in the world? Shit's not even born in amniotic fluid, it's just like a bunch of, like, trin. What is this? What is she talking about? This isn't even spiritual.
I have a hard time answering the question about evil because there is such a big gap between how humanity perceives good versus evil and how, you know, even beings in the seventh dimension perceive
The seventh dimension. Who's in the seventh dimension?
higher self perceives.
Glorbus? Like,
let
who
alone how source
are you communicating with in the seventh fucking dimension?
Stepping back, let's say your higher self wants to understand murder.
Should be easy
It's just
to understand.
a fascinating subject for your higher self. If
Okay.
it wants to understand murder,
Jesus Christ.
the angle.
So your higher self may choose to come as a victim, as the mother of the victim, as the father of the victim.
Why?
As the teacher of the victim.
Why would it want to? So, based on what I've gathered, very limited exposure to her spiritual guru benevolence, it seems like she believes you are the product of your higher self wanting to be experimental. So when something bad happens, it's because your higher self is trying to learn about it. So here, she's using murder as an example. So if you are someone who gets murdered or associated with the victim of a murder, it's because your higher self wanted to be in that position. It was all predestined because your higher self wanted to be present for it, to learn about it. Which is the dumbest idea ever. That's actually the stupidest fucking idea.
And by the way, like, look at Hitler. He's one of the poster children for, like, being an evil person. Do you know how many millions of souls benefited from learning from the experience that he has created? So
the
here,
world serpent has awakened.
You know,
Maybe
like,
through one
look
hell
at
and Goldie.
a character like him and be like, oh, he's completely evil. And upstairs, his experience was the greatest, one of the greater, sources of knowledge of 3D planet Earth warfare.
3D planet Earth warfare.
And that is benefiting
What?
so many different souls on their.
This is a very interesting take, Maria. So, there's a lot to unpack there, Maria. There's a lot to process. The healing vibrations of the universe have not been kind to her frontal lobe. Wow, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
Evolutionary path. So is he evil? Not really. I don't think so.
So interesting. So just it means that some higher selves choose to take this path, and it seems like it's maybe a bit less desirable than other ones because we don't have that many murderers and mass murderers especially, right? But they still choose to do so for their own development. Like,
well, do you want me to give you an even better example?
Yeah.
That was an incredible
do you
example,
think playing
Maria.
World of Warcraft is evil because you're killing things?
Like in a computer game,
Yeah.
people don't think it's evil. Yes.
I know. Same logic. It's a computer game from higher self level. Like, fine. Like, I don't know. Any of those.
Same logic. Yeah, killing goblins in World of Warcraft is the same as Hitler for the Holocaust. You hypocrites. What an interesting character she is. Her higher self has very much done her a great justice. Her enlightenment is astounding. She's trolling. I don't know. She has a whole career based out of this, and apparently you can even pay for these sessions privately. But her main hustle is Scentbird, which, again, is a pretty popular product, or at least it was for a little while. She's the CEO of it. Or at least was.
RPG games, I think RPG is what they're called, right? Like, where you, like, go and, like, murder, all kinds of beings.
They're not
which way for
beings.
Sunday,
They're
with all kinds
pixels.
of weapons, and you're like, I need this strength, and I need this skill, and let me have this gun, and I want a bigger gun, and even more bullets, and blah, blah, blah. I mean, you go in, you may have murdered 1,000 beings.
They're not
on the
beings.
screen,
They're not real.
And then you go on your merry way, and nobody's pointing a finger at you at work and being like, this is a mass murderer. But how is that any different? So that's what I'm
That's
saying.
so
Like,
good.
What you perceive as
Oh
evil
my god.
is not the same experience. Now, you as an avatar, right? You as a person who chooses to play a game, you choose what game you want to play, right? Like, you may go and play Candy Crush. You may go.
She's so fascinating. Like she's dangerously stupid. Like, actually stupid to a level where it could be harmful to people around her. Like, there's nothing wrong with being, like, harmlessly dumb, but when you start to cross the threshold, the event horizon that she is, she's to the point where, like, she is actually probably a threat to the safety of those around her. Yeah, like, even her co-host is laughing at that. Alright, we don't have to continue down this rabbit hole. I'll stop. This kind of shit, though, is always just so interesting to me. The co-host is her husband, who is also co-founder and CPO of Scentbird. That must be a great relationship. Honey, I'm gonna have a cup of coffee. And Maria comes out, no! Slaps the coffee mug out of his hands. It's gonna gonna darken your aura. Remember what happened when you killed that level 6 thug in World of Warcraft? You're just like Hitler.